Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakahak Wadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video. And in this video, I'll be profiling an article from newsbreak.com by Anthony J. Lynch titled, Ex-President of Russia Warns That World Stands on the Brink of World War. While war continues to rage in Eastern Europe, one prominent Russian politician is warning that things could potentially be about to get much, much worse. And it's not potentially going to get much, much worse. It's going to inevitably get much, much worse because World War III is biblical prophecy as well as the use of nuclear weapons. Dmitry Medvedev, the former president of Russia and a close ally of Vladimir Putin, fears that persistent tension with the West will eventually spark a point of no return from which World War III cannot be avoided. Let's get into these precepts real quick. This is Revelation chapter 9, verse 12. A revelation is the last book of the New Testament. One woe or destruction is past, referring to World War I. And behold, there come two woes more hereafter. World War II, which is past, and World War III, which is quickly coming, and will go nuclear. Slovakia. My throat's a little rough right now. Let me get some water. Just Satan trying to hamper the word. But as I said, one woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter. World War I and World War II, which are past, and World War III, which is quickly coming. And just to further emphasize the point, this is mentioned twice in the scriptures in the book of Revelations. This is Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. The second woe, World War II, is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. And over the last couple of years, what have you been hearing about in the news? Talks of world war and the use of nuclear weapons. That's not by coincidence. That's because we're living in the last seconds of the last days before the end of this current age of the rulership of the heathen nations, chiefly of the biblical Edomites, or the so-called white people, before the ushering in of the kingdom of heaven under the true children of Israel, known as the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans today. And nothing will happen, no peace treaties, weapons bans, or anything like that to avert biblical prophecy from coming to its fulfillment. This is the Most High's film, and we're all just actors in it, playing our part. This is Isaiah chapter 55, verse 11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. And who's the mouth of the Most High? The prophets, the men of the Lord, out on the highways and byways preaching this word, as well as putting up video epistles like this. Chiefly GMS, or Great Millstone, as well as the brothers that come in the spirit of GMS, beginning with our apostles and elders all the way down. All these epistles and prophesying that the brothers have been doing over the last, decades, and beginning with our apostles. What? We've slowly but surely seen these words in the scriptures come to life, which just goes to show that we have the 144% truth of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. And the only place you're going to find the truth of what's happened in the past, what's happening currently, and what's about to happen is in the scriptures. This is Isaiah 34, verse 16. Seek ye out of the book of Yahweh what people know as the Old and the New Testament, as well as the Apocrypha, which is a part of the Old Testament, and read, no one of these shall fail, no one of these prophecies, the third woe, nuclear destruction, shall fail, none shall want her mate, because there's no other text, philosophy, idea, scientific method so-called out there that can compare in accuracy to the scriptures, or that can tell you what's going to take place in the future. For my mouth it hath commanded, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and his spirit it hath gathered them. The world is sick and is on the edge of the Third World War, and although we tried to avoid war for 30 years, it was imposed on us. It's growing with every day for known reasons. The Western world was unfair to our country to a large extent. Did they hear us? No, they didn't. To that end, Medvedev argues that because of the threats facing the Russian people, the country is fully prepared to use its full arsenal in its defense. Citing Russian doctrine, he noted, it makes it clear that nuclear weapons may be used if Russia faces an act of aggression involving other types of weapons which threaten the very existence of the state. In fact, it is about using nuclear weapons in response to such actions. Our potential adversaries should not underestimate this. All these speculations about how the Russians will never do this are worthless. And hey, they are worthless speculations that Russia would never use nukes, because it's biblical prophecy for those nukes to get used. And the two main combatants during this third woe is going to be the United States of America and Russia. That's it with this article. Now let's get back to these precepts. This is 2 Peter's chapter 3. I'm going to start at verse 10. And the header reads, a new heaven and a new earth, which is exactly what this nuclear-armed Third World War is going to bring in. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. And that's not talking about the spiritual realm where the Most High dwells, or the sky passing away. That's talking about this current rulership of the heathens, chiefly of the Edomites, coming to an end. Because in the scriptures, heaven and hell can be symbolic for a condition. Heaven, when you're in your rulership and peace, and hell, when you're in captivity, when you're going through afflictions, which is exactly what the children of Israel are going through right now. But once World War III kicks off and those nukes start flying, that's when that role reversal begins. Because in the midst of those nukes flying, Yahushua, whom the world ignorantly refers to as so-called Jesus Christ, is going to make his second coming to make war against the heathens, chiefly the Edomites, and save the elect of the nation of Israel, and put that final nail in the coffin of their rulership. And once the dust settles, Yahushua and the 144,000 of the elect, who are fishers of men prophesying right now, are going to be hunters in that day in those new spiritual bodies. And they're going to begin rounding up you surviving heathens, beginning with the elites, and putting you into slavery so you can begin building the kingdom of heaven, the new heavens and the new earth of the children of Israel, while you heathens are going to go into your hell, 1,000 years of hardcore bondage and slavery. But after that 1,000 years, all the heathens outside of the Edomites will be allowed to go back to their lands and live in peace under the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. But as for you Edomites, every single Edomite man, woman, and child is going to be gathered up and permanently culled from this planet by fire. Just read Obadiah 1 verse 18. And it's very fitting that that fire that's going to take all the Edomites off the face of the earth after that first 1,000 years of the kingdom of heaven, hey, it's fire that's going to begin the ending of their rulership. Hey, it's all beautiful. In which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. And it's going to be that nuclear destruction that's going to melt the elements with fervent heat and burn up the works in the earth. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved by nuclear fire, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? And to the elect of the nation of Israel, the spirit you should be in is diligently waiting for this nuclear destruction to come to pass as quickly as possible. You should be in the spirit of it having happened yesterday, because this destruction is our salvation, the end of Esau's kingdom or world, and the beginning of our kingdom or world, our heavens, which is going to be for eternity, looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of the Most High, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements will melt with fervent heat from those nuclear missiles. And like I just said, the two main combatants in this third woe is going to be the United States of America and Russia is actually going to prevail against the U.S. This is Jeremiah chapter 50. I'm going to start at verse 41. Behold, a people shall come from the north country, as it says up in verse 9, which is Russia, because what's north of the United States of America? Canada, that Arctic Ocean region, and then Russia. And Russia has been building up its military capabilities, nuclear included, in that Arctic Ocean region over the last couple of years. And it's a well-known fact that Russia shooting missiles from itself from the north across that Arctic Ocean region, as well as from its assets in that Arctic Ocean region, to hit its targets in the U.S. would be the shortest trajectory time for those missiles to reach America. Behold, a people shall come from the north, and a great nation, and many kings shall be raised up from the coasts of the earth, from the ends of the earth. These different nations, not just Russia's allies, such as China, North Korea, or Iran, but also America's own allies. These NATO nations like Britain, France, Germany, which at some point during World War III are going to turn against the U.S. and ally themselves with that north country, Russia. Read Revelation chapter 17, verse 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, the 10 horns representing the EU, or European Union, beginning with the first 10 common markets of the EU, back when it was known as the European Economic Community, and the beast being NATO. These shall hate the whore that rides upon the beast, the United States of America, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire, nuclear fire. And altogether, they're going to shoot 200 million nuclear missiles onto the U.S., turning it into the biblical lake of fire from sea to shining sea, and then a desolate, uninhabitable wasteland afterwards. They shall hold the bow and the lance, which are symbolic for the nuclear missiles, because when the prophets wrote these visions down thousands of years ago, they didn't know what a nuclear weapon was, so they had to describe it with weapons of war they knew during their times: bows and arrows, lances, spears, flying swords, etc., etc. They are cruel and will not shew mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses, everyone put in array like a man to the battle against thee, O daughter of Babylon. And the United States of America is known as the daughter of Babylon in the scriptures. Mystery Babylon, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots. And when you go to Psalms 137, around verses 7 to 9, you'll see that the Edomites are synonymous with the daughter of Babylon. But now I'm going to go up to verse 50. As the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, and besides being known as the daughter of Babylon in the scriptures, the U.S. is also known as spiritual Sodom and Egypt, as pursuant to Revelation 11, verse 8. And it should be very easy to see why the U.S. is known as spiritual Sodom. This is the number one nation that pushes that alphabet lifestyle onto the rest of the planet. Look at the month we're in right now, PRIDE month. And for the great pride of the United States of America, just like the great pride that Sodom and Gomorrah had in committing those lewd acts. They're going to be destroyed by fire and brimstone, just like ancient Sodom and Gomorrah was, but this time by that modern day fire and brimstone, those 200 million nuclear missiles, saith Yahweh. So shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein. And we know that this isn't talking about ancient Babylon, which is in modern day Iraq, because people are dwelling there to this very day. When Babylon the Great, the daughter of Babylon, gets hit with those nukes, man, woman, or child will never set foot on this place ever again, and after a time, only desert creatures are going to dwell here, as it says in verse 39. Therefore the wild beasts of the desert with the wild beasts of the islands shall dwell there, and the owls shall dwell therein, and it shall be no more inhabited forever, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. And the former United States of America, the mother of harlots, is going to stand as an eternal memorial as to what a wicked kingdom looked like, how not to govern the earth, and what the ultimate judgment and punishment was for afflicting the apple of the Most High's eye, the children of Israel. So that's it with this lesson. With this lesson, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. We're clearly almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites, primarily from Babylon, the United States. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babol, Kwam Yasharallah, and until next time, Shalom.